There has been a lot of discussion about James Gunn's Superman over the past week, and understandably so. This is a fresh start, a reboot of the DC Universe, James Gunn's first film entry into the renewed DC Universe. And of course, it's Superman, who's a character who's been around for nearly a century at this point. Everybody knows who Superman is, everyone knows his story, and everybody has their opinions on Superman. But one of the craziest storylines to come out of the Superman movie is about a massive change to the origin story for Superman. And to get into that, we do need to get into one specific spoiler for the movie, and that is about his birth parents. So fair warning, we'll be talking about that spoiler in this video, but you can see the headlines. James Gunn retcons Superman's origin story in a major, irreversible way. And here you have it. Superman 2025 confirms why Jor-El sent Superman to Earth. And it's different from most DC canon. The DCU's Jor-El differs from what has come before in other Superman adaptations. And yes, indeed. In this movie, in the beginning, you see that there's a message, or at least part of a message, that Superman has from his birth parents. You see a video playing of Jor-El and Lara, and they're essentially saying, we love you, we're so proud of you, we're so happy, go do good things. All these nice, wholesome things, and that's all Superman has. But there was a second part to the message that got corrupted in transit after he crash landed here on Earth, all that stuff, so we never got to see the second part of the message. Well, about 20 minutes into the movie, Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude, has the engineer, download all the data she can. It turns out he receives the second part of that message. And the second part of the message is a little bit disturbing. It says, hey, mankind, they're weak, they're stupid, they're basically a bunch of retards. Go rule over them, kill anybody that gets in your way, and take as many wives as you can. Spread your superior Kryptonian gene to the maximum possible extent. That's what the message is. And throughout the movie, I was thinking, okay, this is a trick. It's going to be revealed. But every single person confirms that, no, it's not a trick. That's actually what it was. All the way through the movie until the very end where they don't change it. They don't say, hey, it was just a trick by Lex Luthor. Nothing gets revealed. That's just the story. Even in moments where Lex Luthor has revealed the entirety of his plan, everything that he's done, talking to his co-conspirators and freely admitting different things, even throughout all of that, they don't make the reveal that I think so many people expected that, no, we faked that message, all of this stuff. Jor-El sent him to this world, not to be a beacon, not to help lead them or guide them, not because they can do better, not because they don't have to repeat the mistakes that we made. No. Fuck bitches, kill anybody that gets in your way, spread your seed. That's what the story is. And there's been a lot of people that have been coping over this, that have been saying, well, why would you trust Lex Luthor, and why this and why that? And I understand why people are trying to cope over their arguments, and that's what we do over comic book movies. We defend the ones we love and the reasons we love and things like this. And I get it. I get why you're trying to defend it and cope. And certainly this isn't a new thing for superhero movies. Man of Steel, we've had discussions about, the death of Pa Kent in Man of Steel, what happens at the end with Zod in Man of Steel. These discussions happen surrounding these characters that have been around for forever. However, James Gunn has confirmed that this is real and why he did it, why he changed it. This is a change to Jor-El. This is confirmed by James Gunn now. James Gunn says the controversial Superman lore change was because he allowed himself to make changes where changes might work and be interesting for the DCU. Certainly has people talking about it. So people are interested in the change, but not in a very positive way. And here's the thing. After this is revealed by Lex Luthor and Superman and all this stuff, like Superman understands this, it does create what I think is a very interesting plot point. This crisis of self in Superman, like, I thought that these were my birth parents. I thought this is why I was sent to this world, and all of that has changed. All of that is unraveling. And I do think that that can be a compelling part of the story. However, you have multiple instances within the movie, and even like up to the very end, where after Superman says, you know what, my birth parents, they don't decide who I am, the choices I make, blah, 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 all this stuff, I'm going to save everybody. You could still have it revealed that, oh, that was all a trick by Lex. That was forged. That was bullshit. But no, instead, they went out of their way to confirm every step along the way that it was real. And now James Gunn is doing the same thing. And here's his explanation as to why he was willing to make a change like that.
I'm a huge Superman fan. So first of all, I had to trust myself that I was going to honor the pieces of Superman that we needed to keep the same. and also allow myself to make changes where changes might work and wouldn't go against the integrity of who the character is. And so I think that was simply dealing with some of those things, was simply dealing with allowing ourselves to change part of the story in a way that was interesting for the DCU, but that wasn't something that went against who Superman was. And it has been something that's been played with in the comics before. I'm a huge Superman fan.
So this is him confirming that this is real. Now, I would not be shocked because this is incredibly unpopular. And there's a million people coping that, well, it was this trick or it was that trick or it was this trick. And wow, why do you believe Lex? Well, the thing is they had multiple opportunities to show you that it was fake within the scope of the movie. This is the movie. We can't, you can't be like, well, just trust us, bro. That's probably a trick, blah, blah, blah. We'll show you 3 years down the line in a different movie. This is the movie. I wouldn't be shocked if they retcon it later because it is very, very unpopular and really nonsensical. I do think it goes a little bit contrary to the character, this idea that he was sent to Earth to kill everybody who opposed him and to spread his superior Kryptonian gene. I do think, just fuck bitches. I do think there's a little bit of that goes against who Superman is as a character. We know he gets his humanity from his Kansas farmer parents, right, that adopt him. We understand that, and that's fantastic. Those are the primary morals behind him as a character. However, there is an element to having his birth parents, and specifically Jor-El, engineering this entire thing to send him to save him, to stop repeating the mistakes that they've made in the past, and also to help the humans, to help the people of Earth, to be a guiding light for them, not to rule over them with an iron fist and have a harem of women. And the reason that I really think this was done was because throughout the movie, they continue to make jokes about Superman having a secret harem of women, Superman wanting to do this, they wanted to do it, and they wanted to put it in there as a joke, which is one of the problems I do have with a lot of elements of this movie, even what I think are some great moments where you can get some real emotional depth and stuff like that within Superman. In typical James Gunn fashion, they're quickly undercut by a joke. And, here's some of the reactions here. Donner's Superman, help the people of Earth, my son. Snyder's, do not let them make the same mistakes as us. Guns, rape them hoes. Basically what it is. Kal-El, my son, we sent you to Earth to do crimes and fuck bitches. Basically. And I saw Epic Mike, this tweet blew up for him. Donner's Jor-El, they can be great people, Cal. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason above all, their capacity for good. I've sent them you, my only son. Snyder's Jor-El. You'll give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They'll race behind you. They'll stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun, Cal. Guns Jor-El. I'm going to need you to smash as many of them broads as you can, make a harem, be the baby daddy I know you can, then run the table on them Earthlings. It is a significant change. And the aside of, well, the idea's been, bounced around in the comics a couple times. There are some storylines, specifically I think Byrne's run, where when they're making the decision to send him to Earth, where it's like the Yellow Sun will give him powers, he'll be stronger, and everybody else will basically be a god on Earth. And Laura's like, well, does that mean he's going to rule over them and show them the Kryptonian ways? And they have a little discussion, and Jor-El says, that could potentially be the case, but I think that he can lead them. I don't think he has to rule over them. I think that he can show them a better way with these things. And also in DC Rebirth, they did something strange with Jor-El where he actually got saved by, I think, Dr. Manhattan, and he was shown humanity's worst things to try to turn Jor-El against humans, for him to try to convince Clark to turn against humans. There's been a time or two where they toy with that possible idea of evil Jor-El type of thing. Hasn't typically gone over well for a reason. But that is what they did in this movie. And with all the cope and all the people trying to make a million excuses for, well, no, it's not really real. Why are you listening to this? Why are you believing this? This is what they did. You're trying to make excuses for it because you like the movie, and I understand that. This is what they did in the movie. I wouldn't be shocked if they desperately try to retcon it, and maybe you'll think that was the plan the whole time. It wasn't. James Gunn has confirmed that was not the plan. This is what he wanted to do with Superman, period. Bottom line. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.